Hello! How's it going? You alright? My name's Graeme. This is Trigger Warning Sunday. Thanks everyone who joined us from Richie's show. Oh, I've messed up the camera a bit there. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let's get on me and just... There we go. We can see the chat again. What are the stories for today? That's a very good question. Who asked that? I can't see. It was a chicken. Today we're going to be talking about scouting and the change of their policy. I'm going to talk a little bit about Labour and why I'm probably never ever going to vote them again. We're going to talk about Europe a little bit with Theresa May going, and something that you've all probably noticed that I'm a little bit annoyed about. And we're going to end with a couple of tweets, and we're back onto the gender actually for the end. And then if we've got time, I'm going to talk about how Captain Marvel is the villain. So it turns out, guys, please, anytime you feel like itching that trigger finger, get yourself on triggerwarning.tv. That's triggerwarning.tv. Look, you can go and look at a picture of me and Aidan on it. There you go. You can drop us a donation. You can check out a few highlighted videos. You can join our Patreon if you want, for as little as $1 a month. Thanks so much, everyone. So far, though, there's very, very few of you who choose the dollar option, and that is really, really appreciated, obviously. Telegram for uncensored, unfiltered, non-algorithm notifications. I didn't do it. I didn't do one. I'm going to do one now really quick. Yeah, sorry, it's supposed to be there. That's basically future-proofing, though. So, and it should be... It should be a notification now, but I forgot. I bloody forgot because I'm an idiot. I keep meaning to do it. We're live. There we go. Right, please join our Telegram. The reason for that is YouTube doesn't always give you notifications. Facebook definitely doesn't, although we're going to that very soon because Facebook is pure evil and it is destroying the structure of our society. Also, guys, check out Brave if you'd like. There's a links to this and everything in the description just below me if you're on the YouTube. If you're on triggerwarning.tv, well, you're already there, aren't you? Get yourself the Brave browser if you feel like it. It's like a stripped back Chrome. You can use your Chrome extensions in it, so there's no big thing, but just by using it you support the show. It's a really good browser. If you use it for a month, I think we get like $5 a month or something like that, and they've not paid us or anything like that. We just came across it because one of you guys sent us a donation via it, because it's another way to support people and sidestep the things, because we're still not monetized. Look down there, you see that 1k, and I can tell you, hand on heart, we have rinsed the hours, the 4,000 hours that you needed. We do that almost in a month. So, still not monetized though. Still not monetized. So get yourself on Brave browser, get yourself on Patreon, get yourself on our podcast if that's what you would like. Let's just check out who is with us before we carry on. Hello, Fano, you all right? Hello, A Chicken. Hello, all the other quiet people who are sitting there mysteriously. And a non-triggerist who's just left to join our YouTube, I'm assuming. Nat, say, has Graeme been to a job interview or something? He looks smarter dressed than usual. No, what I did was, so I've got this like t-shirt that I got in Thailand. Chang Beer it is. And I always just wear it when I'm around the house. I don't it's not like my Sunday t-shirt, but it keeps being my Sunday t-shirt. Now, my wonderful partner, who suffers a lot just by my existence, leaves the house most Sundays now. And last week she left at 11:59 and we went live at noon. I had 1 minute and I was so flustered and so panicked. And you can tell watching the thing, it was a very long show, but I didn't get through a lot because I was just like, oh. So yeah, I basically keep forgetting to get out of my chilled, relaxing around the house t-shirt, which if you look back, the elastic's gone on it, so it just looks like a wife beater. And no, I always intend to. I think a lot of you people, and I really appreciate the fact that you watch. So the least I can do is try to look slightly reasonable for you and slightly respectable, even if what comes out of here doesn't quite match the scam of my appearance. But that's it. No, I've not been for a job interview, but this is a job interview, isn't it? Every time I do it, every time that one of you guys donates or joins our Patreon or whatever, then that's it, isn't it? So that's kind of the thing. It's about respect, really, and it's always my intention, but I forget. Who else we got? Hello, Chappie. Hello, everyone. Saying hello, 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 hello. Right, let's get on with it. And I realised this just as I went on air, but I'm not logged in because I'm on a private browser because I don't want any of my private information coming up. You know, auto-filled forms and things like that, so it's just best not to take the risk. So, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We can get what we need just from the start of it here, and it's an interesting one. The Scouts have done a U-turn on a transgender policy that members said put young people's safety at risk. This was a big deal, man. Lots of people quit. 2 really high up people quit. And, it was all about the fact that, well, we'll go into it now. The policy, which was published only 18 months ago. Now, you've got to remember, though, the Scouts have been, they've been mixed at the highest point since the 70s, but then it was the start of this century. I think it was 2001, 2002, where they just got rid of the Boy Scouts and all that. It was all mixed. But, yeah, triggered protests. One MP called it madness. Which has substantially changed. Advice that the Scout leaders should not call children boys or girls. That's an interesting one, isn't it? What? Richie went late? How dare he? I should have had it on, but I was prepping. The organisation, which accepts boys and girls of all ages, has also rescinded advice that a child's gender transition must be treated with complete confidentiality. Dude, I have worked in this area, and that is a very ominous term when you add including being kept from parents. No. Just because you are very good at building tents and rock climbing and inspiring young people. I'm quite good with kids, actually. That doesn't mean I'm an expert on diagnosing transgenderism and then not telling the parents. No, that's not how it works, and that is the problem. The guidance now says such information should be shared with families or the authorities if there are welfare concerns. Yes, of course they should, because you don't know what's going on. If some little boy decides he's a little girl, there could be a whole host of reasons, one of which being they need to transition at some point in their life. But they also could be abused. They also could be severely autistic or whatever, or learning impaired in another way that does have a higher chance of presenting as transgender. It is not for the Scouts to make these decisions, man. It is insane. And I will say, I got in a big debate with someone about this not so long ago, actually, because I like the idea of groups existing that are mixed, but I also like the idea of there being Boy Scouts, or Girl Guides, as it tends to be. I like the idea of that. I went to Scouts as a boy, and I got in fights, and I got, one time we were camping, we went out, a few kids beat us up, and there was a gang of him, and none of the guys backed me up. There's one guy backed me up, Simon, but the others just froze and didn't do anything, and it was a bad time, and it was upsetting and all that, but it was part of growing up, because when we got back, the Scout leaders bollocked them for not backing me up, and not it was a learning moment for all of us about teamwork, not just teamwork where you've built a raft together and you all go, yeah, like real world teamwork, actual stuff. And the same with girls as well. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what girls need to tell each other, but there's a lot of gendered groups by choice. Men and women choose to associate with their own gender at certain times of the week for many, many, many thousands of different and perfectly valid reasons. I like the idea, I was in a mixed school. I like the fact that I had that male environment. They call it the second father, don't they? If I was too scruffy, they we'd do the thing where we did the thing. I can't fully remember it now, but what I do remember is having my ass dragged out of there and the guy having a massive go of me for turning up with my thing all scruffy and that, because don't you dare stand there again like that. And it's like, oh my God, it's preparing you for the world, isn't it? And I think that's a healthy thing. And the second you add a female into that equation, it changes everything. Now, here's the thing with my daughter when I think about it. I'd love my daughter to end up in places like this. I'd absolutely adore it. And she knows she's a girl. She defines herself as a girl. There's no half the time she's a cat or a superhero or a shadow. Yesterday she was an evil version of her. She kept saying, I'm evil Zelda, I'm evil Zelda, and you're my evil daddy, and we had to be evil all day. And it was weird, She's different things all the time, but she's definitely a girl, man, and she associates with that. She likes pink and princesses and all that. And that's fine, because she's chose that. I've not forced anything on her. Now, I'd love her to go to these groups, and develop her skills, and there's this cliche that it's all sewing and mothering and cooking, and it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit, man. I've got the thing up here for him. Oh, here we go. Yeah, look, right. They do loads and loads of stuff. They've got all the climbing and the groups, and I've been going through this website tonight, and there's absolutely tons going on that they do. They don't mess around. Look at them here with the rock climbing and all that. They're not sitting around learning to be girls and all that. Look, they're out on the water. They do the camping. They do all the fun stuff. But I should really hope that they also do stuff that maybe on average more women tend to enjoy, because they are on average more social creatures. Now, I'd love my daughter to go to one of these groups, but not if someone has a penis. I'm sorry. I don't want a 14-year-old girl who's very horny and coming and all that to be going off camping and spending nights, or going off on these day trips where there's cocks about. I mean, I'd be worried enough with the leaders and the people doing that. Enough stories come up with that. We've just had the one with that football coach, haven't we, that was diddling kids for years, using his power to abuse them. I don't want dicks there. And here's the thing, man. I solidly believe true capitalist society, actual personal freedom, I should be able to have the choice, as should another parent. If they don't give a fuck and they don't mind their 14, 15-year-old girl going off for a weekend surrounded by cocks, good for you. I think you're wrong. I think you're fucking stupid. You're going to end up with a pregnant kid, or worse, a raped kid, God knows what. But we should have that fucking freedom. And all of these sort of choices laid down kind of frustrate me a little bit, kind of irritate me. Yeah, I don't like them. I don't like it at all. And I'm glad that they've U-turned, and I'm glad that it's going to cause problems. And I think they are going to go woke, and I think they are going to go broke. Definitely. I mean, it was in here. This is just a backup. I've already covered this, basically. The thing is, right, if you're transgender at 14, 15 or whatever, then, I feel really bad for you. I do. And you obviously need a lot of help, and you need a lot of support and everything. But if you've still got a cock, we have to draw a ring around that. We've got to weight it, right? What's more important? Is it that single person's individual? See, they might not even want to be around it. You know what I mean? Is it that one individual's person, or putting all these girls at risk by introducing a cock? What's more important? And at the moment we're focused so hard on that we're ignoring the thing, and we're ignoring the fact that assaults on women are going up, because we're mixing people in these spaces. They are going up, not necessarily by transgender people, but just by putting cocks and vaginas in the same room is causing problems. That's why we have this divide. It isn't about exclusion. It isn't about any of that other nonsense. So good. I'm glad they're scrapping it. Sod them. Screw them. And they got all this bullshit, man. It's just like, I don't understand the obsession with looking good is ignoring the fact that for thousands of years, men and women tended to congregate together separately for good reasons. So they could learn, Scouting for girls. Piss off. No, I'm not happy with that. Guys, don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell. Double check that you are, because we've had a few dodgy bits and bobs here and there all over the place, so we need to go. Please make sure you hit that big TW, drop us a subscribe. If we provide value to us as well, please consider dropping us a donation. Throw me $2. Make me feel like the little whore that I am. Let's just check the chat before we move on. Do you know who Krasenstein brothers are? They are leftist capitalists who just, oh yeah, Fano, yeah, the Krasensteins. In fact, I'll go over it. I'll go over that in just a second, actually. You are a bigot. Would you let your child go to school if there was a drag story time? It depends entirely on. It depends entirely, man. I don't. You see, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. It's always about context, isn't it? We've just recently had it come out about those libraries that were letting drag story times go on, and they were sex offenders. They were convicted child molesters. And they were literally, like, the cliche that everyone says will never happen. Oh, it's not like they'll just put a dress on and turn up. But it's like, they did. But I think the panic over this, because certain far-left science deniers have created this narrative and they're hiding behind inclusive language. They've created this situation now where we're freaking out. But you've got to consider things like pantomimes. I grew up with pantomimes, right? And the lead was always a male played by a woman. I don't know if that's still the case. And it wasn't some big statement. It wasn't some big, like, go girl, yes queen, fight the power. It's just a tradition. And it was fun, and it was innocent. And the same with the Dame. The Dame tended to be a loud, usually a bigger guy in my experience. I grew up in the theatre. I was a stage, a theatre monkey. I'd be up in the rafters and doing the lights and setting off the flashbangs during the thing. And no one ever thought like, oh, is it okay that dude's pretending to be a lady? So I think the thing is, it's okay that it is, and there's tradition there, and it's fun, and it can be fun. So it depends on the context. My girl's got the what's it called? The nativity play, or if they put on like, if they put on a little show at their school and one of the teachers, the female, dresses as a male. It happened at my school, man. I still remember one of our teachers. I never had him, but I remember him storming in the most ridiculous, over the top, suspenders and it was hilarious. I think I did it one year. I had a recurring character that I used to do where I would dress as I was an American old American lady. And I was awful. And I'd just go around harassing the audience. I fucking loved it. So the thing is, these things can be okay. But that teacher has been checked. That teacher has been, this stuff isn't 100%, obviously. But as long as there's basic background checks done. No, I wouldn't be against it necessarily. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, but on the other side, when it's like little kids twerking, and some dude wearing just like little knickers covered in glitter and grease and Vaseline rubbing his ass in a 4-year-old's face. That isn't about diversity and inclusion and all that. That's like, shit, man, they can learn about it when they get older. I used to go to the gay village all the time around here. I fucking loved it. I loved the attention. I loved the chaos of it. I loved the craziness of it. But I was a grown-ass adult. For the most part. I was about 15 when I started going, which they loved. Not that I did, but I loved the attention. I never did anything, not knowingly anyway. A couple of blackout nights there where I wonder what may have happened, but yeah, like these are things we're so polarized at the moment. It's ridiculous, and I don't think we should be. And I think the problem is when people like the Scouts and that do these big overarching like things. It's not healthy and it's not good for the conversation. So there you go. Would you let your child go to store if there was a drag story times? Depends on the context. In that, probably not. The way you've described it and what I'm assuming you mean, probably not. Oddly enough, I've got my daughter into a religious school. There's a weird paradox in the UK, isn't it? In that you know, if you want, you have to kind of get them into religious schools. Tend to be the good ones, even the ones that tend to lean away from it. Even, you know, and I've got no sort of Christian upbringing for her or anything like that, but that's the way it goes. They're the ones that get the best scores, whatever. And I'll have a word with her if she believes in God and all that. I'll support her, whatever. If it makes her happy, I don't care. Good afternoon, chaps from Cortal. Oh, God. Aerial and satellites. I'm not saying that again. Zombie Apocalypse, I found the perfect stick. He's wrong. I've got a machete ready to go, man. Don't you worry about that. I was a chef for years. I've got a lovely big meat knife. And it's just, oof, get that sharpened. Not too long. It's not getting stuck anywhere. Chop into the brains every time. And it scares people. Scares humans as well. Hello from Spain. Hi, Martin. Hey, little glob. Donate so Graeme can buy some razors. What the fuck, man? This was a choice. This is my designer stubble. What are you on about? All right, I'll have a shave for next week. We'll see how it goes, eh? Trans is another agenda to divide us. Yes, little glob. But the thing about trans is, like, we've always had trans people, and they've always existed, and they've always been there. And for a long time, it was all right. I think I always say this: it's important to separate actual trans people from trans activists. There's very little crossover, man. And I know a lot of both of them, actually. The trans activists are absolute fucking psychos who go out with, like, just lipstick on and then spend all day Instagramming about how they were misgendered by bigots and transphobes. And it's like, no, you're a dude wearing lipstick. Like, in their world, in their mind, because they don't live in your paranoid conspiracy theory world of trans activism, they're just calling you sir or whatever because they're trying to be accepting and not... The fact that they just called you sir and didn't take the piss out of you and didn't do anything, that's them trying to be good. They don't know the rules. They don't know what's going on inside your head. So, yeah, please separate out trans from trans activists. Dave is asking if I voted for Tommy Robinson. Many good people died for the right to private suffrage. So I'm not going to speak about who I voted for unless he wins, and then I'll do a party video about it tomorrow. We're going to get onto that in a minute, actually. Little Glob said it's all coming out now, Graeme. Morning, blokes. Hello, Drone Tech. Drone Tech, mate. I was going to say it's early for you, but you've got a wee babby, haven't you? So time is meaningless now. Good to have you, though, man. I hope you're good. Hello, everyone else. I got my collection. Blah, 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 blah. I agree with Graeme. They've always been around. There's loads here, and they're lovely. Yeah. The thing is, they're just people. And here's the problem with trans activism is it's creating this protected class out of them. Some trans people are absolutely awesome. Some, Eddie Izzard has got some views I don't agree with, but that dude is hilarious, man, and he's very intelligent, and he's a strong-willed. I would never. If I achieve 1% of what that man achieves in his life, I will die happy. Here's the thing: trans people are people. They're just people. Some of them are absolute cockballs. Some of them are the worst people you could ever hope to meet. Just like straight by anyone. And here's the problem then. So if you then get in an argument or criticize a trans person, the activists will swing in and be like, transphobia, and it's like, no, they're a dick. I'm treating them as an individual. I actually have more respect for them as a human being than a trans activist could ever conceive of, because they can only view them through the lens of them being victims and oppressed. And it's like, no, I put them on the same level as me. I assume that they have a sense of humor. I assume that they have intelligence enough to follow what I'm saying. So I don't censor myself or adjust my language or adjust my point or soften it like I would a toddler. No, I talk to them as an adult human being. I start from a point of respect, and that's something trans activists do not understand. So when I call my trans friends trannies, which I do to their face with a smile, and it's fine. Hi, all my tranny friends, by the way. They call themselves tranny too, because it's funny. It's a fun word. It's just like the amount of gay friends that we call them. I call them cocksuckers and faggots, and they call themselves that and all this, and it's no big deal because there's two groups. There's just and there's the silent majority that are just fucking getting on with their lives, and then there's this tiny minority of people who are just constantly poisoning the well and trying to be allies to minorities. And it's like, maybe those minorities don't need your allyship, because all you're doing is creating more problems, and you're creating it's why it always comes up on the show. It's why it always comes up, because they're just creating issues. That's all they do. They just make things worse all the time, every time. That's why Feminism is Cancer is such a good... Milo was way ahead of his time. It is a cancer, culturally speaking. Massively so. And it's a shame, man. It's a real shame. Anyway. Ooh. Let me get my breath back before this, because you are going to love this one. You're going to absolutely adore it. And I've not seen anyone cover this yet. So I'm quite proud. I'm hoping. That is a weird thing. I'm sure the one that was broadcast is different to the one I've got here. I'm sure it is, but I'm going to have to see. Maybe I saw an extended version, something like that. But here we go. If the mass cover-up of thousands of girls being tortured, raped, trafficked into slavery in this country, moved from city to city to be fucked and impregnated and beaten and sold, wasn't enough to put you off Labour for life, I don't know what is. I really don't. And this goes all the way to the top. It goes all the way to Gordon Brown. They treated the victims as if they were the perpetrator. An 11-year-old girl gets raped many, many times, and then she gets done for child sexual offences because she created... Oh my God. And it was exactly what we were just talking about. It was the bigotry of low expectations. It was the not wanting to appear racist. It was the not wanting to... rock the boats, and it's coming out as well with all the reports. And I've got the Mirror up specifically for a very good reason, because they are very pro-Labour, and even they are reporting on this. It goes all the way up to the Prime Minister, and they said, step back. They actually said that there was consent from the girls, and they were treated as prostitutes. These children who were being raped because they were white. It's a racial thing. That was the other thing we didn't want to talk about. Pakistani men who were racist. That's the thing. These Pakistani men are racist. But the lens that we view the world in, because they're a minority and because they're whatever, they are victims and oppressed, they can't possibly do it. So they were racist against white people. And so racist, in fact, they treat them like sex meat. Fuck them every which way they could. I cannot say this enough. It can't be covered up any longer. It can't. But anyway, if that isn't enough to put you off voting Labour forever, then surely the pile of human garbage that is Jess Phillips is enough for you. You may remember the Sargon rape tweet thing that's been going around. She appeared on Have I Got News For You, and it was good. The writers fed her plenty of, humorous, adorable, cute little things to make her seem quite personable, and I quite enjoyed it. I watched most of it. I just had it on, sort of passively, and I was like, yeah, there's the side of her I don't usually see. Quite heartwarming. They gave her a mini political broadcast against Carl Benjamin, Sargon of Akkad, which you've all probably seen reactions to. I've not seen a lot of people talk about the fact that she called for his video to be banned again. She said it's still up. There it is. It's this bit here. She says his video where he made the rape joke is still up. So an elected member of our government is openly calling for censorship. Openly calling for the removal of a joke. A 3-minute joke reel of joke UKIP policies that were all ridiculous and all silly, and it's all been blown out. And this piece of shit, she's like Schrodinger's cat of politicians, isn't she? She's both a bad bitch, don't mess with me, I'm winning, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna take everyone on, I've got a great sense of humour, I'm fucking above everyone and all that. She's that, and she's the ultimate victim, crying in the streets, oh my God, I'm so oppressed even though I'm an MP. I have power over everyone in this country, and yet you're oppressed somehow because you don't have a cock and balls. Go fuck yourself, you piece of shit. You are blatantly used, and I'm not saying you're unique on this. This is what all politicians do to some extent, but you are up there in the top leagues in terms of hiding behind, because every time you appear on the fucking BBC, they give you an easy ride. They don't question your policies. They don't question your approaches. I mean, I'm not expecting Have I Got News for you to bite back, but why is she openly calling for censorship and nobody challenges her on it? They all just tell her how fucking brave she is. The noble victim. Meanwhile, she is pushing for Orwellian control over all of our lives. And because she's got tits, we're all supposed to pretend that's not a problem. Now, the rape tweet. This terrible thing, which, by the way, the issue with the rape tweet is the Independent, it's the Guardian, it's the Daily Mail. They're the ones spamming it out everywhere. They're the ones filling everyone's hate. They're the ones inciting violence on our streets right now, while she just sits back and goes, oh, poor me, everyone, and gets invited on this show and being told she's brave and all this bullshit. But what about this, right? We remove context from that joke. All right, fair enough. We remove context from it. Yeah, it's pretty bad then, isn't it? He's talking about rape. What about this? What happens here?
This is from Box and Fiddle, the only magazine where it's possible to find this utterly harmless, utterly innocent sentence. We did have a fiddler in the family, my Uncle Donald.
Can anyone read what that says there? We did have a fiddler in the family, my Uncle Donald. Hey? The old pervy uncle joke, eh? The old child sex offender Donald joke. Is it? I don't think they've gone for Donald by accident there, have they? What have we got here? We have got the show that she is appearing in where she's been told she's so brave because of a rape joke, and they have a rape joke in that same show that she laughed at! That she fucking laughed at! Okay, I've got a new one for you then. Jess Phillips, why do you laugh at children being raped? If we're going to play by these rules, then why are you laughing at child rape? Why are you laughing at rape? For anyone that doesn't know, if you're in the outside of the UK, kiddie fiddling, is the sort of joke term we use for child sexual abuse. You would literally use it. In a joke setting, you know. But you might also use it as you punching someone in the face or screaming at someone. You call them a fucking kiddie fiddler. So there we go. Isn't that weird, eh? Isn't that weird? How suddenly we have a joke about rape. That's funny! Am I losing my fucking mind here? Am I fucking... The issue that I have is the hypocrisy, right? I am not saying there's anything wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with that. That is fine, right? That joke about raping kids that they all had a little to is fine, yeah? But how fucking dare this woman sit on news and politics shows talking about how upset she is and how bad it is and all that, when all she's doing is milking the public consciousness. She's playing political games because she wasn't offended by that, and she wasn't offended by the rape joke from Carl Benjamin either. And if she and these people are allowed to laugh at that, why are the rest of us not allowed to laugh at Carl Benjamin? I asked you that question. It is a good fucking question. And it annoys me that nobody watched this far. Because there was a rape joke in there and she fucking laughed at it. She's just as bad as him. Here's the thing, man. We're all just as bad as him. Every single one of us. We all laugh at risky humour. We're all flawed. We're all hypocrites. Stop putting these fucking people on pedestals. Fano likes my milking action. Joe Public said it's double standards and hypocrisy. Yeah, I'm going to be putting this out as a clip. Please share it. It will be up by the end of today, because fuck this piece of shit. Fuck this program. Right, this what's her name? Sorry, Victoria Coren. She gave a big speech about how brave Jess Phillips was and how she wanted her on the show and that, and that's what it is. This is what it is. It's her mate that she likes. Get her on, feed her some nice easy things. They literally fed her the Carl Benjamin thing. She just goes, Carl Benjamin, and it's like, it's a thing for them to all go, he got attacked in the street. Isn't that so funny? And then at the end, a little thing going, yeah, but milkshakes is wrong. A boomer drinking his energy drink. I know. Drone Tech, please, if you could give it, please keep this in mind that exactly what Sagan's just been done for has happened on a show that she was associated with. I've not seen her come out and say anything about it. I've not seen her say complain. She hasn't complained to the BBC for this video to be taken down, has she? That's the point here. In this very programme, she demanded that Sargon be have his video deleted. I'm sure she's part of the pressure that got him demonetised as well. Because, you know, and here's the thing. It is political coercion. He is a member of a rival political party, and they are openly destroying. This is fascism. This actually is fascism. Actual fascism. Yeah? Here's the state media showing us that, oh, this hero that we've got here, this unified thing here, she is literally the noble victim. And there she is, laughingly calling for the silencing of her opponents, whilst hypocritically making the exact same joke. Go fuck yourself. Fuck all of them. Fuck them in their fat fucking hypocritical asses. See, I don't mind, man, but just admit that this is the problem we've got at the moment with politics and culture and everything. This obsession that pretending you're so pure and you've had the cleanest of lives and you've never made a mistake and all this stuff, and it's like, and it's because we give power to these freaks and we all click on these stupid fucking articles, and it just keeps the cycle going and going and going and going. And it's going to come to a head and they will lose. I'm a genuine believer that our absolute core democracy will win on this. It might be bad. It might not even be in my generation or in my lifetime or whatever, but we'll get over it. And we'll look back to this point. We'll look back to this point in time the same way that we look at the Spanish Inquisition, or, you know, when we've had more, you know, the certain kings, was it the second, who was sort of super Puritan and banned dancing and banned alcohol and banned certain foods and all that. We're going to look back now the way we look back at history then. And we'll be like, oh my God, that was the puritanical phase that came out of the internet. Democratizing information. We're in it right now. So as bad as it is, don't give up hope, because it's okay. The same thing happened when books came along. The same thing happened when blues was invented. Girls weren't allowed to marry guitar players because they walked with the devil. You know, what's his name? That guy? I can't remember anyway. You know, the guy that met at the crossroads and all that. Yeah, those guys. The panic, the moral panic, video games, horror movies, rock and roll, all of it. There's always a moral panic when something new and amazing and world-changing comes along. And right now, that is happening on a scale that we've never known before. So it is bad and it is crazy. But look at the big picture, man. It's kind of needed. It is, and it's necessary, and it's good. It is us forming our new social grammar, and that's fine. Hello, all the Anon triggerists in the Anon room who were just mysteriously watching. Hello there. Sooty Rehabs are very happy about getting his weekly dose of racial/gender superiority. Fuck off, Sooty. Dickhead. Why would you do that? Robert Johnson. Thank you, Fano. Thank you. Guys, please join our Telegram if you could. The link is in the description. There's a Telegram thing. It's there. It's like a phone. It's a bit like WhatsApp, but it's not owned by Facebook. It's quite good, actually. I've been on it for years. I used to use it to flirt. Ooh, hi. But it's good as well. It's good to keep up. There's lots of deplorable people on there that you'll find if you'd like to keep up with them. Oh, you know what? I'm going to have a little suck on my thing before I carry on. Oh, that was too big then. Chicken has asked, aren't you scared that the vape will blow up in your face like that guy in Florida? No, I'm not. People get killed by fridges falling on them every day. That doesn't mean I'm going to go stop myself getting milk for my coffee, is it? Hey, can't live in fear. Jesus Christ, I'm going to be scared of that. I mean, I've got a very mainstream one. It's not modified. It's very generic. Like, I've not done anything to it. It's literally like, it's the starter one for having a decent vape. There's nothing sexy going on. It's all standard. It's at a low thing. It's like, just, no, yeah, there's a risk. But, you know, my computer could set fire to it right now and blow my knees off. I'm not going to fucking, what am I going to do? This shit could just burn in my hands. And I sleep with this under my pillow usually because I'm there scrolling Twitter going, fuck you, bastard. What? Shut up. And then I just put it under my pillow, don't I? Martin as well. Hiya, Martin. You always watch Richie Allen, don't you? Have you seen the his 5G stuff's coming out, isn't it? The actual government are saying now about 5G dangers, but I'm not going to go into that right now. But yeah, a lungful of glycerine. I know. And the problem is, I still bloody smoke as well. I still smoke, so I'm not getting any of the benefits. Guys, if you just joined us, please get yourself on triggerwarning.tv. Link in the description. You can drop us a PayPal. You can do our Streamlabs. You can do all the stuff that you might want. I don't know if we've had any new subscribers whilst we've been on air, because I always miss it. I would try, but I'm not sure whether vaping is allowed in apartments with no smoking. That's a good question. I mean, but it's just water vapor. So if they ban my vape, then they've got to ban the kettle. But there's a thing there, isn't there? You don't know, do you? Right. Oh, we've been waiting so long for this moment, haven't we? Theresa May is gone at last. That miserable piece of shit. I got so sick of her crawling in and going. I mean, I'm sure she wasn't quite as bad as she always came across, but that bitonal voice thing that she had, that meant her voice always cracked and all that, and I'm so sick of hearing about her, and I'm so glad she's gone. I'm so glad. The timing is awful. We don't need a new Prime Minister right now. We need to be getting on with fucking getting out of Europe, which is obviously the only reasonable way to do that at this point is WTO, isn't it? Obviously, that's the only way. Just do it now. Tomorrow, say WTO. That's what we're doing. Tomorrow. WTO. End of story. Not that they can get that shite through Parliament, because this fucking tool went and handed everything to the Labour Party, who just want to frustrate it for their own benefit. They don't give a fuck. They don't care nearly as much as they actually say they care. They just want to get in power, and it suits them just fine the way the numbers are balanced right now, because the Conservatives have got a minority government because this prick called a general election and threw away a majority. So yeah, I say WTO, but who knows what'll get through this bullshit fucking Commons. It's ridiculous. For me, it is the law that we go out on WTO. So the new leader should say, day one, that is the law, WTO. She should have had the fucking balls to say it. And rather than start from a holistic top-down thing where we have a deal that sorts out everything, although obviously the deal wasn't even a deal. The deal was a deal to do a deal after we'd left, with a few things that basically meant we were in, but without having a say in all that bollocks. It was an awful deal. Everyone agreed, because it wasn't even a deal. Nothing was sorted out. Baseline, WTO, do it Monday, say it straight a fucking way. That's what we're doing. what can we build onto that before we leave? That's how you fucking do it. It's the only way. Will I, you, and everyone else be happy with everything that gets added to it? No, we won't. But that's life. That's politics. It's about compromise. But at least this stupid motherfucker is out of the way. And there's a good reason for that from the Conservatives' point of view. And that is the fact that, you know, later tonight, it's looking like we're going to get a Brexit party rinsing. And I mean, look at the state of this for the Conservatives. Now, obviously, you know, in theory, all our MEPs will be gone by the end of the year because we won't be in Europe anymore and all that. The European elections were not about us having representation in Europe. I know a lot of the parties sold it that way. It had fuck all to do with representation in Europe. We all know by now that the MEPs, that you're not voting for someone that can propose laws, so what's the point? You're voting for someone that does as they're told in terms of the party line. There's no individual there. The best we can hope for is pricks like Sargon and Tommy Robinson getting in there, because they'll actually be privy to the inner workings of it. And you know what I'd love? I'd love a lot more transparency, because so much of it is done behind closed doors, and I don't like that. Some things have to be. Of course they do. Let's live in the real world here, shall we? If they're having a snide meeting about Iran sending terrorists over, we don't necessarily need to fucking hear about it, do we, eh? Because it might jeopardise the thing, of course. But let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater in terms of that. Now, the saying Boris is the favourite. The favourite to win at the start has never actually won before. From the Conservatives' point of view, Boris has to win. He has to. I know that you can come in with all these other people that have got, oh, they want WT and all that. I don't think Boris wants WTO. I think that's the weakness of him. But he's crazy enough to give the public the impression that he does, so he can get that back in. But this is the reason they need Boris right now. And you might be a Labour voter or UKIP or whatever, and you might not hate him. You might be a Brexit party or whatever. But from their point of view, Farage right now is the motherfucking king. He is untouchable. That ex-banker mates with Trump. He, right now, is the man of the people. He's touring working men's clubs. He's got people giving him cakes and jumpers and all that shit. You know, you see the footage of him getting milkshakes and they go, oh, look at him sulking. Because obviously when you're attacked in the street, if you respond negatively to it, that's bad for you, isn't it? You're a bad person for not wanting to be attacked in the street whilst exercising your human rights. But yeah, the only thing that's going to beat Nigel is Boris. He's the only person with anywhere close to the notoriety, the personality, and the balls. Other people might be good, better, or worse, or whatever, but there's no contest. If the Conservatives put anyone other than Boris at the top of their thing right now, they're just asking for absolute destruction. Then you know what? Then they deserve everything that's happened in the last 3 years with Theresa May. If their membership is that stupid to pick anyone but Boris, and yeah, I know he's got a bad history. We can sit here and we can go on about all the gaffes and the mistakes, and you can do that with every single politician under the sun, you know. But why bother? There's a reality. There's facts on the ground right now. Boris needs to, man. Whether or not he's going to be able to do anything, I don't know. Let's have a quick look. If it does, be sure to be streaming. All right, yeah. I would try, but I'm not sure whether vaping is allowed. Oh, yeah. Richie, go and get fried with 5G. I know, I can't wait. The witch is gone, Dick Dong, yeah, and all that stuff. People agreeing on WTO. Still not as big a traitor as Tony Blair. Give advice to Macron on Brexit. Yeah, that was a weird one, wasn't it? That was. I mean, I think traitor is a strong word. Here's the thing, man. Like, you know, he's entitled to his opinion and he's entitled to his perspective, and it's a weird one, isn't it? Like, I don't like all this, like, who funds you crap with agencies and stuff like that, because the reason people want to know who funds you is so they can harass them out of existence. It's so they can destroy their lives, their families, and their happiness completely. And I think we need to respect, like, the fact that, like it or not, Tony Blair is a human being. He is entitled to his perspective, and he's entitled to go over there. He is. I don't like it, but it is what it is. And that's the thing. We should do it. We need consistency with that. So when Trump's saying that May's weak and he would have handled it better, he probably would have done, wouldn't he? Let's just be candid for a moment. Donald Trump would have handled the Brexit negotiations better than Theresa May. That's how awful she is. Think about that. But yeah, I mean, Blair's bad and everything, but I think he should be allowed to do that if that's what he wants and that's his interests. Then personal freedom. I believe in your freedom, my freedom, and his freedom also. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with a lot of things that Tony Blair did. The biggest of which being, what he did to our economy, the bombs that he placed in it, and obviously the insane assault on free speech by way of Section 127 of the Communication Act. It's just erased hundreds of years of free speech common law there, which was nice. May has already signed up to military unification with the EU, so if we do leave, what happens then? Well, again, this is the thing with Boris. He's more likely to do that, isn't he? He's more likely to be... Because that's the thing, man. We keep hammering on about all this shite with, like, trading... And, what about, like, people coming here? Because people just strawman the fuck out of it. They're like, well, there'll be a border on Ireland. There doesn't have to be. We don't have to build a border. There's no rule to say we have to build a fecking border. There's no rule to say we have to kick everyone out. Keep everyone here. Keep everyone that's moved here, keep them here. Oh, what about the NHS? It needs doctors. We can still get them. We are not closing the country down forever. The strawmanning is insane. I think long term it very likely could be good for us. And maybe Boris is what we need right now. How the fuck did we get here? I don't know. Worrying. Hello everyone, still all the anons. I love the anons. If you want to know what I'm talking about, go on triggerwarning.tv/live. If our YouTube chat ever gets shut down or censored or anything like that, we have our own chat room with a stream, so you can come and let me know. You can also tweet me at Graeme Boove if you'd like to get in touch and all the rest of it. Boris will blame the Russians. It's funny how we... both sides, all sides blame the Russians when it's convenient, don't they? But yeah, the thing about this, the EU elections, it's the first one that I've followed with the intensity as I have, because all bets are off right now. I mean, I don't even believe these opinion polls very much. I don't. I think it's bullshit. They can't weight the opinion polls against the chaos that we've had right now. I do believe that Brexit Party's got a lot of support. Is it this much? Is it more or less? I don't know. But apart from that, I don't believe any of this. I think it's bollocks. I think it could go either way. I mean, it's nonsense. So I'm really excited for tonight. I'm going to be up all night watching this. I am so hyped for it. I can't wait. I can't wait to see the results. And again, my biggest one, I really, really want, for my own personal amusement, I really want live on the BBC, Tommy Robinson to get... Sorry, I can't even say it. I really want Tommy Robinson to get elected. I think it would be fucking hilarious. I want. You know the way they always go, Stephen Yaxley Lennon, founder of the EDL, member of the BBM. I love the fact that they'll then have to say Tommy Robinson MEP. The thing is, man, it's all fucked. Boris right now is our best hope. So all bets are off for me. I'd rather have the fun. I'd rather have the memes, the chaos, the tears of him getting in, because people are like, he's a fascist. He's not a fascist or a racist. He's misinformed about certain things. His approach is awful sometimes. Don't be banging on people's doors in the middle of the night. Jesus Christ. But he's not a fascist. He's not. He's an activist with a certain perspective, and he's been heavily demonised in there. And I think it'd be fucking hilarious. I can't wait. I just want to read Owen Jones's weekly hate piece about him. I think it'd be fucking great for Tommy Robinson to just have more power than Owen Jones. Come on, it'd be fun. You know it'd be fun. You know it'd be fucking hilarious. Him getting banned for a month for swearing and all that stuff. It'd be great. It'd be so much fun. And I really hope, just for my own personal enjoyment. None of his politics, none of his issues, none of what he's doing, because ultimately he can't propose laws. So why the fuck should I care? He's already said he's going to donate all his wages to abuse victims anyway, which charities all signed an open letter saying they'd refuse it. What, you're going to refuse 70 grand a year, are you? You're gonna refuse funding 2 or 3 members of staff, good staff, trained staff, good people, paying them well comparatively for the. I used to work in this industry. I know how much the wages have halved. They've halved, man, under the Tories. You're talking mid 25, 26 grand down to like 12 grand a year. It's pathetic. So you think of the people you get with that. With his wages, they could hire all these people for 5 years for the time that he's in there. And they're like, no, because they can't quietly just accept it and not make a big deal out of it. No, they have to publicly say no to the man who, for all of his faults and his criminal background and all that. Some of the work he's done with the grooming gangs and that has been important. It has. He for all the shit he gets, he actually keeps it in, and people go, oh well, he didn't break any of it. I mean, he does now, of course he does. He gets stuff sent to him all the time. But so what if he didn't break any of it? He took the slings and arrows of standing there and saying it and getting the message out of the fact that thousands of children were raped and sold into slavery, trafficked around the country. It was covered up, openly covered up. Which reminds me, I'll talk about that on Thursday, the Trump thing, actually. And he took all his shit, and some of it he deserves, but most of it he doesn't. And he took it primarily to get that message out there. And it's worked. It's done. We got the arrests. They can't hide it any longer. 30 years of wanton destruction in our communities. And it's still happening. Here's the thing about the referendum that really annoyed me. There's been this dead serious thing about the fact that they can't discuss exit polls and things like that. And we had this one the straight away. The Netherlands had it on the same day as of us, and we've got exit polls straight away. CNN, boom, and European papers as well. It's like just straight away we got the exit polls, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat on in a minute here. Pro-European parties are predicted to triumph in the European election against populists. I'm starting to dislike the term populists because it's anyone right of the far left now that's popular. If anyone centre right, far right has any kind of resonance with the public at all. Like, they make a good point. They go, oh, populist. It's becoming one of those words, isn't it, that we're going to have to drop soon because it's running out of meaning. But yeah, here we are. And the reason we don't have the exit polls, and I don't agree with this, but I respect it, I respect the logic, is if you publish opinion polls saying that pro-European parties winning in the Netherlands, that might influence other countries who aren't voting till yesterday or today. So there is a thing there because people are like, oh, they're winning. Right, I'm going to get with the winning team. And I get that because it doesn't work in the European Parliament. It doesn't work in terms of you don't sit by country, you sit by affiliation. So all the communists sit there, all the UKIPs, all the independence people sit together. That's how they do it. So you're not just voting for your area or your country. You are voting for the whole of Europe. You really, really are. There's a connectivity there, which is why we don't do this. But now we've got the fact that a pro-Europe poll is there. That's been published, and it's not just CNN. It's all over the place. And we've got the EU Observer here saying the Irish Greens take Dublin in second EU exit poll. Ireland's Green Party scored high in the EU elections on Friday. In the second pro-European exit poll, Irish people also want to relax divorce laws and all that. Blah, 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 blah. Now, why are we having all this conversation about all these pro-European... It's interesting, isn't it, that there's all these rules about not doing it, but it's kind of slipped by for Ireland and the Netherlands. I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on here to say, isn't it interesting how... I mean, I don't know why. I don't know the reasons why. But I will say that we had our polling on Thursday, and our media has been tight-lipped about it other than the fact it happened. So that's making me think that the exit polls show that the Brexit party have rammed every other party up the arse, but they're not talking about it. They're not talking about the anti-EU ones, but the results that go in the favour of the EU have been leaking out. Interesting that, isn't it? I can't say why. I don't know why, but it is interesting. You can't deny it. I suspect if the Lib Dems had done very, very well here, I suspect there would have been rumblings and rumourings, and an exit poll may have been leaked, because the BBC are already sat on him. Of course they are. They've had him since Thursday night. All the media agencies have. So they all know the truth. I don't know. So I suspect it's a big night for anti-Europe in this country. And good. It's what we need. We need a kick up the arse. Because you've got to remember, it's like I said before, the European elections have got fuck all to do with actual MEPs taking the seat. The European elections were a surrogate for the second referendum. That's all they were. It was Remain or Leave. That's all anyone fucking voted on. Unless you voted for fucking Tommy Robinson, and it's just like a big fuck it. Let's put a new jester in Europe. Let's throw a bit of human dynamite into it all there and let him have fun and see what happens. But that's what it was. You know, everyone's hammering on about a second referendum. That's what it was. And if you don't think that, then I'm sorry, but you're wrong. It was a second referendum in everything but name. And it was Leave or Remain, or if you really wanted to be like, then you could have voted Labour, because they don't have a fucking clue what they want, do they? I hope Labour get trounced in this for that one reason, man. I've got it right here, man. Bringing our country together. Whether you voted Leave or Remain. All right, that's fucking useless then, isn't it, eh? Hey? Fuck all about Europe, innit? Piss off, man. He needs to quit as well. I suspect maybe he will after this, but who knows with him? Who knows? Joe Public has asked if I've got foil lining in my bonnet. No, that's probably a good idea, isn't it? Early morning results. Yeah, I'm going to have a little nap later. And I'm staying up all night, baby. I might even stream. We'll see what happens, eh? Bullying boy, Bojo, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Right. Oh, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I really do. I love my Sundays with you. If there's anything else you want me to talk about, please let me know. We had something about the Krasensteins, didn't we? They got deleted. The guys who always... if you've ever looked at... Donald Trump's Twitter. I don't follow him, but I see his tweets every time I open Twitter, because it shares, it goes, so-and-so liked this. And I follow a few deplorable, hashtag MAGA, hashtag Eagles and all that. Like, I follow a few of them because they're fucking hilarious. And you've got to get out your bubble. Follow people that love, hate him, indifferent, get it all. Always get out your bubble. But, they're the guys who always comment on his tweets. They've got a thing set up. They've obviously got a slightly sophisticated thing there, because they're just straight on it, and it was nearly always the first tweet you saw, or like the most of you, it'd be a muted tweet, because they just chatted shit. It was conspiracy theories, it was false information, it was links to blogs that just weren't right, and it's like, don't get me wrong, man. There's criticisms of Donald Trump, of course they are, but these guys, they were just a propaganda machine, and now they've been banned. But, and I've not got this up because I didn't know you were going to request it. I'm sorry about that. I should have done. Twitter's statement was incredibly vague. Now, I don't like these guys. They're propagandists. They're just harassing. They're not even harassing him. They're harassing everyone else because they know that they're going to be the first tweet that comes up. And I don't know if that's because Twitter, gave them a little wink and a nudge. I don't know. But my issue with them being banned from Twitter is there was no clear reason given. And even though I don't like these people, I don't like the fact that Twitter is ghosting people without telling us why. And Facebook, Facebook's the worst for it. Facebook, when Facebook got rid of Tommy Robinson, there was just all this vague stuff. The BBC and The Guardian put out all these accusations about him inciting violence and stuff, but it was but there was no evidence there. There was not, because he didn't do it, because he didn't do the things he was accused of doing. He didn't. But no, people that hate him are just gonna go, yeah, he did, blah blah blah, he's blah blah. But they didn't. They didn't. Newspapers then lied on behalf of Facebook. If you look at the actual reason given, nothing was there. The reason nothing was there because he would have been able to take legal action against them. And the same goes for Twitter. They've banned them, but they've not actually said why. They didn't give a solid reason. They didn't give a solid argument. They did say that using bot accounts was against the terms of service, but they didn't attribute that to them. So it's weasel words. It's bullshit. It's management talk, isn't it? So, yeah. Excuse me. So it's bullshit. How do you successfully soundproof a room? I will soon be moving into an apartment and I don't want the neighbours to think I'm insane. I have had to knock on my neighbours and apologise and tell them I am not abusing my family. So when I'm screaming, going, you fucking bitch, I've had to knock on and I brought them in here. My neighbours are really lovely. The people below me, though, they won't talk to me. So I think the people that live downstairs actually just straight up think I'm a psychopath that screams bitch and whore and fuck you and all that at my very lovely wife and young daughter. The way they look at me, like, I'm expecting a knock on the door any day. But the problem is, me and my daughter share a really dark sense of humour, and I'm genuinely really worried. Because they will, I think they will, with all the screaming and shouting that I do. That's for you guys, and the video evidence is there. I'll just show them trigger warning and go, well, this is what I do, man. Look, there's me shing and puzzles and things, and my coat. This is it. There's me shouting. Anything that you've been told about, tell me and we'll find the video of me doing it and you can see for yourself. But I'm worried because me and my daughter do have a dark sense of humour, and she might say something that sounds really bad. Like we have like big battles, epic battles. It's like, I'm gonna rip your head off and stuff, and it's like, I'm worried that she'll say something. I'm not gonna say it on the stream, certain things that we say, but like bad choice of words, like for example, like, remember Aliens, like that quote the little girl says, they mostly come at night, mostly. I get her to say things like that because I think it's hilarious, and it'll probably come back to haunt me one day, but gives a fuck. What do you think about the LGBT relationships lessons school disruption in Birmingham? That's from Elf Boy. Thank you, Elf Boy, for that. That's a really good question. And that takes us back to Jess Phillips, didn't we? Because she's been going around there fishing for support and compliments and all that. Right. The LGBT stuff. Oddly enough, I kind of almost agree with the religious people who are protesting, but it is a Moat and Bailey argument because when they say, well, should we teach that people have two dads, two mums? Yes, we should. Why not? Tell them about the world. Of course, man. You don't have to get hardcore. I've seen the World Health Organization has just put out recommendations to tell 3 and 4-year-olds about masturbation. And I'm not making that up. That is legitimate. World Health Organization. Those guys have gone to shit now, and they've actually put it in about talking to kids about masturbating, which they do, by the way. Anyone that's got kids will tell you. Ages 3, 4, they realise that, oh, well, there's a button there that feels quite nice, and they do it the same way they pick the nose or bite the nails. Of course they do. But I don't really want my teacher the teacher of my 4-year-old child to be having conversations about it. Thank you very much. So, I'm for that. And that's the thing. I am for relationship knowledge. Of course. You know, like there's why not? Why not? But and that's what they say. That's what your Owen Joneses and stuff. It's like, well, we just want to tell them about the world. Why would you want to hide the fact that there's gay people? No, I don't. Of course I don't. Of course I don't. So I disagree with the protesters' reasons for being there. But oddly enough, I agree with their goals, and I'll tell you why. Because it's not just telling people that sometimes kids have 2 dads or 2 mums. It's not just that, though, is it? That's the problem. Wrapped up in all of that other stuff is kids coming out of the education system thinking that women can have penises. So you're selling me on one argument, but what's the other stuff that I'm not hearing about? Because at the moment, kids are exiting the school system with an absolute denial of science. They are happily and comfortably, and the teachers are doing it too, they are sitting there and there is saying there is no biological test to tell women from men. And it's like, well, we've been over this before, man. There's some pretty clear ones. Straight away. Beyond, I'm not even going to say it. And that's the issue. That's what I don't like at the moment. I don't like the fact that, you know, there was that guy in America recently that got done for telling an 8-year-old that he was trans, and keeping it from his family. He kept it from the family. He kept it a secret from him. The kid had gas. He had wind, and he didn't want to go to the toilet because the male 8-year-old didn't want to go to the male toilets. The teacher decided he was trans, decided to, you know, encourage, empower, bring him out like a flower and all that, and the parents ended up winning millions off him. They sued him, and damn right they fucking did, because it's none of your business. I want my kid to learn that cars exist. That cars drive on the left-hand side of the road wherever. The right-hand side, which is the correct way. We're actually a minority here. I think there's just us in Thailand that does it. I don't think so. You know, I want them to know that. I want them to know the basic things about, you know, teach them about it. Teach them about speed. Teach them about miles per hour. I don't want someone who's only ever been in school, university, teacher training college to then teach my daughter how to fix a car engine. That's the thing, and that's what we're getting right now. They're trying to teach, rather than just teaching something does exist, they're going beyond their mandate. They're going beyond their area of expertise. They're convincing autistic children that they're trans when they're not. They're autistic, and it's like, it's none of your fucking business. It's not for you, and that's the thing. It's causing problems. You're trying to do a good thing, and it is a good thing. Of course it is, man. But here's the thing. Here's why it should be scrapped. They should be teaching the respect for an individual. That's the core that should be there. And in fairness, I've read the policy. That is what's there for the most part. It really is. If you actually read what they're teaching in Birmingham right now in that school, it, for the vast most part, it is. But that's what it should be. Respect for sovereignty, respect for the individual, you know? I don't like what you say, but I'll defend your right to say it. That attitude. You live your life. As long as you're not hurting me, you do whatever the heck you want. You know, did I just say heck? Oh my God. But yeah, that's the core of it. Because the problem at the moment is they're using bad data. They're using skewed statistics, like this nonsense about 47% of bisexual people get raped. It's not true, or it's not been demonstrated. They asked 280 people, 286 people, and they then weighted that across the entire US population of, what is it now, 360 million. They got 286 people from a phone poll. Who even does phone polls? and weighted it across. But the problem is then they're then teaching that in schools, and it's not true, or at least it's not been verified in any way whatsoever, and that's the problem. You're victimizing it. They do it as well with they'll have like, you know, like man, woman, and then there's the scale. But if they actually did it accurately, they'd be man and woman, and then, you know, if it's like that, there'd be a tiny little sliver there in the middle, like a little tiny little pen, and that's everyone else. And it's kind of misweighting it. So if you're gay, if you're ill, if you're, or, you know, autism's the big one at the moment. If you're any of those and you're a man or a woman or whatever, and then you get shown this middle ground, which can be all sorts of different things, as being equally weighted. And it's just as valid. You've got every right to live that life as anyone else. Of course you fucking have. But you're confusing your minds. People who need help. Genuine help and support. And you're just going, well, you're obviously trans. And it's like, well, it might not necessarily be the case. Maybe they were fucked in the ass by their uncle since they were 4 years old and they're a little bit confused now. And maybe they've got so many issues. You see, the problem is, and it is happening. It's already happening. I've known people that have done this. Like, I'm a lady, and then a year later it just goes out the window because it's a shortcut to being special. And when you're a teenager, when you're a kid, you know, they're all being told, you know, you're fine as you are. And it's like, no, you're not. You're a fucking child who, with the right encouragement, can grow continuously through your whole life. But at the moment, you get stuck on that adolescent, like, yeah. And it's a shortcut to being special. And you say you're trans and suddenly you're scuppered away, and it's like, you know, there's many colours in the homo rainbow, and suddenly you're part of a group and a team, and you've got all these things, and before you know it, you're taking pills so that you've got tits, and then a couple of years later, your dicks come off, and then a couple of years after that, when it all dies down and you have to just get on with regular life, you're like, what the fuck have I done? And that's happening more and more and more. We don't even know how much it's happening because the data keeps getting suppressed on it. But it is happening, and suicide, and that's the thing, really. I don't know. So that's what I think about the LGBT thing. I think at the moment, yes, I'm not happy with it, and that doesn't mean I've got an issue with gay people or anything. I don't. I think we should be teaching respect for the individual, respect for your rights to live your life, respect for leaving each other alone. You're never going to stop bullying. You're never going to stop. People saying, oh, the kid's getting picked on for being gay or bi or trans or whatever. And it's like, no. Some kids will get picked on because they are vulnerable, because the bully is going to pick on you no matter what. And they're going to find whatever it is. If you don't have a dad, it doesn't matter. They're not getting bullied because they're gay. Just their sexuality is what they are using to hurt them. Yeah? They say it to me all the time. People are testing out what works, what might not work, and all that. Oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts you. So I'm going to keep pushing through with that, and that's what it is. That's why I don't like it. I don't like drawing a ring around LGBT. I don't like the fact that it segregates them. I've had a big argument with the guy that runs Pride in Manchester. Oh, he works on Pride in Manchester, because I said no. Pride needs to go in Manchester. There's no need for it anymore. It does more harm than good, in my opinion. You know, y'all want to have a big fucking party and get wrecked. Good for you, man. MMR vaccine has... Oh, I'm not touching that. I'm not touching MMR right now. I'm already 20 minutes over. Do you know what? And that brings me on to this, actually. It's going to have to be the last... yeah, oh my God. So I might, on the edit, I might get some of that earlier bit. The blocking policy by @Edward Lord. Go and check for me if you're on Twitter if you are blocked by Edward Lord. I will block anyone who tweets abuse to or about me, my friends, my colleagues, or marginalised communities. Well, right now, women are becoming marginalised, so why is he blocking all of them? Comment below, give the like to these, many of those blocked will have never heard of him. And yeah, this is the curse right now of block lists. I love it. He's blocking women. 82% of people he's blocked are women. So this guy works for the City of London. This isn't just some prick who's out and about nowhere or whatever. This is Edward Lord, OBE. There he is. Oh, God, that's it. Yeah, okay. Let's not get into personal things. Leadership, integrity, equality, community. Councillor of the City of London. He's a councillor of the City of London. Independent director of British Basketball League. Diversity and inclusion champion. He's bi and NB because of course he is. He's non-binary and bi because he's so fucking special and independent. You know what? I don't care. I don't give a fuck what you are. And I find your wearing of your sexuality creepy. What I do in the bedroom, it just doesn't fucking matter. And it doesn't affect my work. It's got nothing to do with anything. It's so weird, isn't it? It's so weird. I knew people for years before I actually knew they were gay or whatever. Because who cares? Who the fuck cares what they like to gobble on? I don't know. But yeah, this guy, trans studies, trans lives, past, present and future, he's pushing all this. He is a councillor for the City of London. He is working on this shit. He is sharing stuff like life isn't binary. Because they just refuse to accept that there's such a thing as male or female. So proud to have played a small role in its creation. The thing about this is they're collecting data right now. They want to know exactly. So you can go on Maya Forstater. There's a Google Docs thing. Check Edward Lord. See if you are blocked. Pretty much everyone is. Blocked by him. Because he's using every block bot under the sun, apparently. The entirety of Twitter. So if you're inclusion, and if you're being about inclusiveness, then why the fuck are you blocking everyone? If you're bringing in rules of mixed changing rooms, which mean that more women are being sexually assaulted, and you are blocking by default those people who are being sexually assaulted, that's not very good, is it? That's not very healthy. These people are in a cult. These people are religious at this point. It is a religious cult. This intersectional feminist nonsense. They will not allow outside opinion. They will not discuss their views. They invent their own meanings for commonly used words so that they can quickly identify whether or not you are in the cult or you are an enemy of the cult. They call you out to see if you will bend the knee, not because they want to include you or they want to make the world better, but because they want to dominate you. Do not do what these people say. Do not fucking let the pricks like Edward Lord take away your right to live the life you want. And it is insane right now. It is insane that I am actually getting on board with third wave feminists. Because they're finally tasting their own medicine, aren't they? Because pricks like this guy are making the rules and blocking anyone that might have a dissenting opinion. I'm only on this right now because I'm on a private one. But it's not cool. Trans women are women. No, they're not. They're not though, are they? Why would you say that? Of course they should have the right to use Hansard Heath, Ladies Ponds. Right, here's the thing, man. 99 point something % are either men or women. Yeah? There's a few in the middle that are a bit confused. There's a few that just like wearing clothing of the opposite sex. There's a few very, very confused and somewhere in the middle and all that. And then there's some that need to go the whole hog and chop it all off and get it all done, and that's fine. If that makes you happy and that makes you comfortable, fine. But let's just deal with the 99%, shall we? In terms of a fucking pond. And if you were born a man, you're not a woman. You will never be a woman. But if you want to live as a woman, I am happy to respect that. I will always refer to you as a woman, so long as you know. I mean, the only time I don't do that is if they've there was that one recently that was trying to abuse kids. No, you've lost common respect now. Or the one that went to that women's prison and raped a couple of women as soon as he got there. No, you're not a woman. Fuck off. I'm not gonna. You're a man with a cock that you used to rape women with. You're also a man with superior strength that you used to hold down the woman that you raped. You were a man at that point. If you want to live as a woman, I will 100% respect that in every conceivable way. Even if you're a dick. I mean, I draw the line at sexual abuse and rape, but even if you're a dick, I'll still say she. And I do. You can go back and check that. I'll still say she. I don't agree with you. I don't think you're still a girl. That's fine. That's how you want to live your life. I got that respect for you. I'd hope that you have that respect for me, right? But this is part of the cult. Trans women are women. I've started doing that now. Whenever I see this on Twitter, I've started replying with that. Do you remember Captain Picard from Star Trek The Next Generation? Do you remember when he was being tortured? It was that really famous episode, and the guy was saying how many lights are there, and he was going, there are 4 lights. I just reply that gif now. I don't say anything because I'm like, no, I don't care what you say. It's a duality thing. Of course they're women. Of course they can exist as women in the world, and if they're lucky enough to pass, then they'll go to women's groups and all that, and that's fine, and no one's going to do it, man. But you can't start insisting that people with penises are allowed in women's spaces. You're encouraging sexual abuse. You're encouraging rape. And it's happening. It's a fucking problem, isn't it, man? This is how the Soviet Union got started. And this is why the far right, they're not far right, but this is why the populists are coming up so strongly. Because we keep being told there's 5 lights when we all know there's 4. And the vast majority of us are trying to just do the right thing and get by, but it's exploding now. There's a safety valve going to go, and that's why people like Sargon are coming up. That's why people like Tommy Robinson are coming up. That's why the whole world is, that's why the Indian elections just went the way they did, because you keep telling us there's 5 lights and we know there's 4. Guys, please drop us a subscription, especially if you're new. Please let people know about the show. If you do not agree with me, or if you do agree with me, please tell me. If I'm talking shit, tell me. Please do. I want to know. Because I get stuff wrong. Of course I do. I make mistakes. I'll do it live on air. I'll correct myself. Of course I will. But then again, if you've got a counterpoint for me, then I want to know that too. So please drop me a subscription, drop me a share. We had one person saying, "Oh, I don't know if I can share because of the tone and stuff," and it's like, well, drop us a share on Facebook and just say, "Look at these knobheads, look at these dicks, they're full of shit," and then you can trick everyone, and they'll watch it and go, "That's quite good actually. That's quite interesting." Trans women weightlifter broke all the records in one meet. Yeah, there was that one that won like 9 out of 9 and got like 4 records in one thing. And she's had all her things taken off her, hasn't she? And rightly so. Them's the breaks, man. I'm never going to play in the NBA. I got to live with that. I'd love to. I'd love to be David Beckham. I'd fucking love it. It is never going to happen, and it would have never happened. Yeah? If you're a dude with a dick, or a dude that had a dick that now has long hair and lipstick, I'm sorry, you can't play in women's leagues. That's what it is. Here's the thing, man. Most male-dominated leagues aren't actually excluding women. That women are allowed in. There's a thing. I had this the other day. It's like, oh well, they're just exclude. Women would be as good as men if they weren't excluded. No, women were as good as men. Would be as good as men if they'd also had millions of years of evolution that led men to be what they are, the protectors. Jesus Christ. Again, this brings us back to what we were saying before about the LGBT. There's something there that happens where, all right, so I agree to the 2 dads thing because I think that's true and I think that's good that you do that. But how do you come out the other end thinking that women could be the best football players on the planet if they just weren't given a doll as a baby? It's like, that's insanity. That is actual cult thinking. And that's That's what I've got an issue with. But yeah, like I said to Hayden the other day, I think that one of the valves that's going to burst is going to be trans women are going to have the records for every major sporting event on the planet that they haven't been excluded from. And at that point, people are just going to go, all right, yeah. Maybe there's a tiny difference between men and women. Tiny. They won't fully admit it, will they? Oh, it's beautiful. Guys, you've been amazing. I was going to go into that Captain Marvel thing. But I can't do it right now. The hidden scene. Because she's a baddie. It turns out she's a villain, but I'm not going to go into that. Fuck it. You can go watch it yourself. What? No smile? Okay, I'm going to break your hand. Steal your property. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Guys, this has been Trigger Warning Sunday. Please join us on Tuesday at 10:30 UK time for mine and Hayden's big sit-down chat of the week. Obviously, we're going to be reacting to the results of the referendum. Then join Hayden for the big show on Thursday. We're going to have a few special guests this Thursday, so make sure you watch it live, because I think some things might happen that we have to cut out. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. I'm sorry if I've not read out your name. Neil, Fano, Chicken, Joe, everyone else, Chappie, everyone else. Thanks for the hearts. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the tweets. Thanks for the shares. You're all absolutely amazing. Sutty's Rehab, I've just seen your tweet as well. Guys. I love you so much, and I will see you on Tuesday. Don't forget that Jess Phillips thing. That'll be out later today. Please share it. Please, I want people to know about this hypocrisy. It needs to be more widely shared. We can't keep doing this low resolution bullshit about saying he's a Nazi, she's a racist, she's a fascist, all that stuff. We can't work at these low resolutions any longer. We need to grow and evolve as a species, and we need to take the reins of what the internet has given us in terms of fast, instant, global communication on a mind-blowing level. We need to take the reins of this and raise the resolution of the way we discuss one another. We need to get away from name-calling, and part of that is to share my video where I'm calling Jess Phillips lots of names. Oh, see you later, guys.